Hey YouTube, I'm back again with another live video. And in today's live video, I am back with my sister Tommy, the real Tammi Terrell. I just wanted to take a little break because y'all know I'll be doing a lot of reading and sometimes I might get a little tired if I read for too long. So I just wanted to take a little break and I decided to come back with some more. So once again, like I show y'all in the majority of videos, this is the cover. My sister Tommy, the real Tammi Terrell, by Louis Montgomery and Vicky Wright. We are currently on chapter 6. Like I said, this book is filled with different pictures. Feel free to get this book on eBay, Amazon, or your local bookstore. Um, this is the second expanded edition book. Chapter 6, The Tourist Home. In 1959, our father had one of his entrepreneur. I can't talk. Hold on. I'm sorry. In 1959, our father had one of his entrepreneurial escapades. He had that kind of spirit. He liked to tinker with his ideas and watch them grow from the ground up. In the summer, we headed out to uh, Absecon, New Jersey. New Jersey takes the name from the island of Jersey off the coast of England. New Jersey, as well as New York, takes the place of New Netherland, which was under Dutch ownership until the war when it was turned over to England without the slightest fight. Absecon, Atlantic City, and Wildwood, New Jersey, would soon become a vicinity we knew ultimately in love. My father thought it would be a great opportunity for our family to run a tourist home business. This was a great idea as it involved all of us. Was mother on a upswing? Our future looked bright. Our uncle Winnie, mother's only brother, came in from New York to help run the business. His business background was a real asset to my father, and they made a great team. Our father was a great financial provider for our family. When he was like God to me, I absolutely loved and adored him. And so did Tommy. He was a fun uncle. He would braid our hair and do it wrong, and then our aunts would have to braid it again. He was so supportive and helpful to us when our mother was ill. Between him and Alice, they made up for a lot of emotional support Tommy and I did not get when we were growing up. They each did the. I don't know why I keep on looking up. See, this is crazy. I'm mad. My bad, y'all. I'm over here looking over at my tablet, even though I don't hear no noises. I keep on looking over at my tablet thinking somebody called me on Facebook Messenger. But anyway, first did the best they could to fill in. Daddy was a stable provider, but when it came to emotional support, we got that from Winnie, Alice, and each other. This was to be a very special time with all of us together doing something that made us close as a family, even grace came for this adventure. When we arrived at Epticon, it was a unique night. The stars were out and shining bright in the heavens. The heavens, I'm sorry. There was a full moon beaming down from up above. It was such a picturesque evening. Everything lined up for a night's arrival. The air was even pleasant. It was scented with lil- lilacs, uh, lilacs, I'm sorry, and hyacinth, hyacinth, I don't know how to pronounce that. Hyacinth. I guess it's lilacs and hyacinth flowers that were growing all around our home. We had placed a station wagon to capacity and everyone teamed up together to unload it. The tourist home was enormous. Dad and Mom told us that it had been a governor's mansion. We never knew it. We never knew if they made it up or if that was true, but the place was huge. It was awesome, and we felt like royalty being there. Everyone in the area knew about it. The tourist home was known as Tom Montgomery's Place. The address was 600 Ohio Avenue in Absecon, New Jersey. I don't know. This had to be some years ago, so I don't know if that place is still there or what it look like now. The property sat on 6 acres of land with a running stream behind the house. There were train tracks behind the stream. They were so far away that the trains going by in the distance did not disturb the serenity of the place. We renovated the three-car garage and created a fine dancing facility. Of course, Tommie was always thinking music and suggested today that we get a jukebox. She was thrilled when he agreed. We set up tables and hung party lights. The small cottage sat to the right of the colossal entrance of the property. I always dreamed that they would make this into my clubhouse, but it never happened. And the closed porch ran the entire circumference of the main home. Fantastic and marvelous were the words to describe it. When you entered the house, there were two huge sitting rooms, two dining areas, an oversized kitchen, and a stairwell that led to the next floor. The second floor had 8 bedrooms, and the third floor had the same. We slept peacefully on our first night. Daddy called an early morning meeting on the second day. He gave us instructions on how the place was to be operated. He delegated chores and duties to us. Tommie and I would be responsible for changing linens, making beds, and dusting. Tommie had to keep the second floor bathroom clean, and I had to keep the third floor bathroom clean. Mommy and Aunt Alice, who was always with us, would be in charge of all the meals as well as all of the upkeep of the first floor. Daddy hired 2 people in addition to a groundskeeper. The menus had to be planned, and the place needed to be stocked for the summer with cleaning supplies, food, and linens needed to be to purchase. I'm gonna need to be purchased. I'm sorry. We spent the first 2 weeks sprucing up the place. The work was strenuous. We rubbed and scrubbed until our knuckles were red. We were beginning to dislike this plan. So much work was to be completed. We waxed, polished, and shined until everything was like new. They said it would be worth it while word got out how great the tourist home was. The home was only 6 miles from Atlantic City. The idea was for the people to come to the tourist home instead of paying high hotel rates. They would get home cooked meals and enjoy a nice, relaxed atmosphere. Daddy was right. The place came alive and was jumping with people who grew into the music once word got out. Large and small groups would be scheduled for the entire week, and on weekends there were all types of groups coming through. To stay, women auxiliaries, religious groups, the Elks, and other clubs. The place was rarely empty on the weekends. Tommy and I got an enlightened education from some of the adult groups that booked into the tourist home. A group of religious followers stayed for an entire week. They drank, partied, and exchanged partners in the late night hours when they thought everyone was asleep. Tommy and I spied on them, and we sure did get an eyeful. They were hypocrites, and that made it hard for me to believe in religion. And then Tommy explained that other groups were just as bad, but rather than criticize them, she admitted to me she liked these other groups and thought they were being honest and real. Tommy met Sweetcakes, a fine-looking guy with a red convertible. He became her puppy love interest that summer. She also started hanging out with her new girlfriends from Atlantic City, Marva, Gretchen, Gretchen, and Lovely. I don't know. They were all very pretty girls with either long or curly hair. I refer to them as Lady Brights. From what I understand, they were very sophisticated girls, and Tommy was running around with them. Tommy began to neglect her chores and responsibilities. She would stay out late at night and on weekends too. She was going to hops and singing in New Jersey at Loretta's High Hat and other juke joints in Cape May and Pleasantville. Dad was not happy at all. He was upset and hyped that she was on the road now was to entertain him. When Tommy was younger, she had wanted to be a doctor, but singing was her true love. Daddy insisted that she go towards the goals of medicine in college. He never stopped trying to put down those guidelines for her, but she was show business bound, and again he lost the battle. Daddy would be gone during the week to check on the barbershop up in Philly. Mommy was letting Tommy run wild all summer. During that time, Mom catered to Tommy's every wish and let her do whatever she wanted to do. The guilt of not being there for so many years on occasion made Mother spoil Tommy to no end. Mom was enjoying Tommy's early career stint and just as much as Tommy was. Whatever Tommy wanted, Mom wanted it to also. Mom felt good, so the sky was the limit this summer. Even though we were in New Jersey, my mother found plenty of stock hops and contests for Tommy to perform in. The two of them were going all the time. Daddy had no idea how much Mom was catering to Tommy's every whim and command. They were very close and shared this passion together. I had never seen Mom this happy before. I saw a spark on her eye one morning as she was telling the neighbor about Tommy's singing adventures. Mother was so proud of her. There was so much excitement in her voice as she described the outfits they brought for Tommie to wear in the song she would be singing. Mom had to hide the clothes in the back of the class so Daddy would not know the extent of what was going on. Tommie needed a lot of support since she did not get it from Daddy. Mother was very supportive and became totally preoccupied with Tommie singing. Tommie and Mother were running around so much that alone would have upset my father since he carefully mapped out this business venture to involve the entire family. Mommy had to ask a friend to help out with the tourist home because she was not there. Many responsibilities fell on my aunt, and although she was furious, Alice was a trooper about it. She could tell us what she could tell this was something good for her sister long before we were ever born. Alice knew how sick our mother had been. I think Alice was happy that she was feeling well enough to enjoy life a little and enjoy Tommy singing. Mom begged Alice to keep this quiet and not tell Daddy what they were doing. Of course, my aunts took Mother and Tommy's side, and Daddy never really knew how far this went that summer. Thank God for us kids. Aunt Alice was preoccupied at the time with tourist home duties, and she also had a new boyfriend. His name was Mr. Hallman. He made us laugh with his morbid sense of humor. He was so funny. Mr. Hallman would take us crabbing. We loved him like another day. He would go out on the boat. We would go out on the boat with him, and I mean, or we would throw our crab baskets over the bridge to the creek below. We lowered them into the water and caught bunches of crabs for dinner. He had a major problem though. He was an alcoholic. On more than one occasion, we woke him up after finding him sprawled out next to a crab basket. One time we had to fetch his shoe out of the creek. He lost it when he was stuck in the muddy water. Aunt Alice would cook the crabs we caught in beer and season them with bait. We would feast ravenously, it seemed, while Mr. Holman slept off his high. He had a bright smile that matched his personality. Maybe because he was a drinker, he was jolly and cracked jokes, a bit of a contrast compared to Alice's personality. Cousin Joyce remembers Alice having a heart. Alice has a soft heart, but she is harsh. The bulk of the family responsibility landed on her shoulders. She took care of her own mother throughout her illness and up until her death. Then she took care of Jeannie all the time. She was a mother to Louie and Tommy their entire lives. All of that can make you harsh. We were happy to see her have a boyfriend when we lived in Exicon. Grace was with our family a lot during the time of the tourist home venture. Her parents were divorced, so she came to be with us for a while. Grace says, some of my favorite times with Tommy were the Exicon summers. We spent a lot of quality time talking and bonding. Aunt Jeannie and I would talk about life, and she would tell me about things and boys. I had been through a lot too in my young life, and she would tell me not to be afraid. She was great support for me, and she was great support for Tommy too with the music. Tommy wanted her father's support, but never got it when it came to music. She really needed his approval with that. Jenny, Tommy, and me would sit around the dining room table and talk for hours. Jenny drank a lot of coffee. I think it eased her headaches. Lily was younger, and we let her pile around with us. She would try to tell on us if we were smoking. She was a bit of a brat then, and made us walk her to the store to get a popsicle. She would not go by herself, so Tommie caved in, and she and I walked her to get her popsicle. The Epsicon summers were steamy and muggy, and the mosquitoes were massive. Whenever I tried to help my mother with something outside, the bugs drove me back in the house. There was a huge secret room under the stairs of the basement. We wondered what was it used for before we came along. Criminals, perhaps. Tommy thought maybe to hide runaway slaves. This was where my mother made wine. Grapes grew wild on the property. On Sundays, my father would sell whiskey in the basement. Something called the Blue Law was in effect, so had to happen in secret. The basement was where Tommy would bring her friends for private interludes. Soon the summer was over, and Tommy, Grace, and I were back in Philly to start school. We had been so busy all summer at the tourist home. I figured it was time to relax and take it easy. Winter came and went, and Tommy was doing her thing all the time now. I felt like I was losing her since she was never home. There was no relax for her now. Things were constantly on the move. Tommy had more talent shows than her before. She kept a hectic schedule with her school in addition to her singing. Throughout 1960s and 1961, Tommy was truly blossoming into a young woman. I loved to watch her primp before her shows. She would give herself facials, tweeze her eyebrows, and paint her nails. She even put falsies in her bra. Tommy wanted to look perky, as she would say, in the chest area. I loved to watch her getting all dolled up. Tommy had her hair cut into a bob. She looked like a boy to me, but her friends thought it was great. Before you knew it, there she was being a trendsetter. All of her friends had copied her style. I would go to her talent shows, and the whole front row would be friends of Tommy with the same haircut, little replicas of Tommy. Although Tommy played piano by ear, she was excellent at it. Our mother wanted her to have more training, so we both began to take piano lessons again from Susan Blackford. We had dad with lessons when we were younger, but mother wanted us classically trained now. I had to do it too because mother thought I should be just like Tommy in master music. Susan was the piano teacher and organist at Holy Cross Lutheran Church. She remembers when her minister came to her and asked her to start teaching us piano. Miss Montgomery talked to my minister about having her girls take piano lessons from me. They were already singing in the church choir. I started with Thomasina, and then Ludi came shortly after. Her mother had a goal for her. Girls to be classically trained and have the classical roots and history of music. Thomasina had her another goal in agenda, and that was to sing on center stage under bright lights, and that's all there was to it. She was just trying to get there. In her head, she did not care about the history of music. She played by ear, and that was all she cared to do. She never learned to read music notes. I was teaching her scales and exercises, along with back, Bach, and Chopin's history. All she wanted to do was sing and play by ear. I was trying to teach her the silent background and teach her finger placements and movements, but she had another plan. She was a great student, and I learned that I had to teach her vocally only instead and put piano aside. I trained her vocally for the first song she recorded, "If You See Bill." It was a first. It was a first for me because I always taught piano and never taught vocals only. I gave her mother credit for wanting her girls to learn music history and to give the girls some structure. She recognized that they were talent. However, Thomasina had it in her blood, whereas Ludi was just doing it to please her mother. She was not as interested in music as her sister was. Both girls were very talented, but Thomasina was driven, focused, and disciplined to do it. She was really ahead of her time. She was precautious. She was a risk taker and had no fear. She pushed the boundary. Thomasina would challenge you. She challenged her parents and gave them a run. She challenged me too. She knew what she was doing was important. She had a mission and made it her goal to sing. Singing was the single most important thing to her. And most people did not understand that discipline in her. Adults usually do not have that equality, but Thomasina had it as a young girl, being so focused on this had her misunderstood most of her life. Thomasina was a flower child long before there were flower children. She was outspoken and bold. Tommy appeared in a talent competition in New Jersey. This had led to a job at the media club in Philadelphia. Babe Chiv- Chi- Chivian became her manager from this. He was a jovial, robust man, and he would come to to the house. He would come by the house and his career along with his daughter and pick up Tommy for gigs. He was well known in the music business. Babe was later instrumental in her singing to Skepta Records and was the force behind Tommy being seen by producer and songwriter Luther Dixon. Skepta One Records was located in New York City and was owned by Florence Greenberg. The company had such artists as Dionne Warwick, the Shirelles, Chuck Jackson, and Tommy Hunt. They were all very popular artists on the scene at the time, and Tommy joined this wonderful record company. Luther Dixon wrote and produced Tommy's first record, If You See Bill, even though she had changed her name with us to Tammy. Skepta solidified that change by making her Tammy Montgomery in the contract. There was already a Tammy Hunt on the label, so now Tommy was forever Tammy in her musical career. Oh, there was already a Tommy Hunt. I said Tammy Hunt. Tommy did not care that the name change was official on paper, so long as the public could hear her sing. This was the beginning of something special for her and for us. One day, while I was busy struggling with math homework, there was finally a breakthrough with Tommy's career. I heard a screech resonating from the bedroom, then another. Tommy ran out screaming at the top of her lungs. I think the whole neighborhood heard it. It's on. It's me. It's on. It's my song. Oh my God, it's my song. Did you hear it? I ran in to listen as Aunt Joyce charged up the stairs. We caught the song midway through. DJ Lord Fauntleroy announced it over the radio with his smooth English accent, and now I'd like to play a dynamic song for you again. A newcomer who sounds like a winner to me. It's Tammy Montgomery singing If You See Bill. We screamed and screeched that afternoon, jumping up and down and hugging each other. When the song finished playing, Tommie told me to call all my friends and tell them, and that she was going to do the same thing. The day was electrifying. I was so elated for my sister. So much hard work for years paid off with her song being played on the radio. Then I remember what she had said when we were small, sneaking into the Uptown Theater. She said she was going to be a star, and now she was becoming one. I beamed with joy for her. As the sun set that night, I reveled in the thought of Tommie's success. But also being a child, I wonder who Bill was. If You See Bill, written by Luther Dixon. Just tell him I still love him. Just tell him please come back to me. Just tell him I'm sorry and I'm in misery. If you see Bill, just tell him I need him. Just tell him I'll wait for him if you see Bill. Well, that's part of the song. All right, so that was the end of that. I'll get back to y'all with chapter 7. Please like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell to be notified. Share my videos with friends and family. And if you want to see more and you support the channel, please feel free to donate to Kashmere Majesty 26. Once again, that is Kashmere Majesty 26. KASHMERE MAJESTY 26.